Hi there. Hey, I'm not sure what happened because I made sure that my video was running when I started this, and I haven't touched my phone because I'm doing this with my iPhone. And at 14 seconds, it decided it wanted to shut off. And I discovered it when I was done with this and stood up to turn off the video. So this unfortunately is going to be more of a this is what I did rather than walking you through the build from start to finish. So I took this panel and made it my base, and this panel measured in at 7 1/4 inches across, and then the panel measured in at 7 3/4 in height. Then I added a pocket, which is 2 1/4 inches wide by the height of the base piece. I took this piece of paper and cut a strip for the pocket and then accented it with the violin out of the fussy cut page, but I backed it against white cardstock instead of blue so that the violin was highlighted a little bit more. And we'll come back to that in just a second. And then I took red paper for this panel, use the rest of it over here, and then over here I used the rest of this brown piece and then accented this with a tag that is treated as a tuck. Now the measurements for each of these pieces is I need to look at this here real quick because I know that's 5/8 on the gusset. So this panel is 5 1/4 inches by the height of this base page. There is a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 inch score on this panel. On this panel, it is coming in at 5 inches with a 1/2 inch score, and then it's taped to the inside of this panel so it folds inward like that. Over here, this panel, keeping in mind that that's 5/8, measured in at 4 1/4, and then this has a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 of an inch score. I took from the fussy cut page this telescope and mounted on top of it one of the smaller tags to give this some substance so that it's a nice little tuck for this page. And then when you come to this one, this is the other portion to, no, wrong. This is the other portion to this page. And I'm simply cutting now at this point to fit the flaps that I've just given you the measurements on. Here, I fussy cut this out. It's such a tiny element, but I wanted to change what it stood for. So I cut out the feather. This was a coffee cup. I cut the coffee cup handle off, and then I set this in there, turning it more into an ink well than a coffee cup. With the wizard over here, I very carefully took my scissors and I cut him out. Then I mounted him on blue cardstock and retraced, mounted then on some pop-ups, and I put him right back in place so that there was a little bit of height and some element to him. So when you're done, you have one flap over here, but then you have two flaps over here, one taped onto the other one. The other half of this is in my stash. I will use it in a later here in the build. And then I took one of the smaller cards and used it as a tuck on this page. Now my magnet, I had to sit it on this piece on the inside so that it had close contact. Now these are not wide enough to put a magnet here and here, so I have to put a magnet here, and then I'm turning this over, I'm closing this, and I'm letting the magnet on the back side find the mate, and then I tape it into place on the back. So then when I close this, the magnet can still catch. So I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. It just simply, I'm looking right now to make sure it's still going. So I do apologize for that. I'm not quite sure what happened. I will be more mindful when I get to this build. I'll see you then.